I'm Raoul from Blare Homestead. Tonight I'm going to set up my worm bin. My worms arrived earlier today, and this is the first opportunity I've gotten to actually set up the worm bins. I've got an 18-gallon storage container here. This is about the biggest you want to go. 10 to 15 gallons is a better size. But as long as I start low, it should be fine. I'm raising red wigglers. They usually only occupy about the top 3 inches of soil. So I only need about 3 inches of bedding in here for the worms at any stage. As the worms go through and process more and more kitchen scraps, the bin will get fuller and fuller, and when it's about half full, then what I'll do is I'll harvest the worm castings and I'll put the worms back in with a 3-inch layer of bedding again, and just start the process all over again. So I have my 18-gallon storage container. I'm going to drill holes in it. You want to drill 1/4-inch holes in the bottom and 1/2-inch ventilation holes around the top. Now I only have a 1/4-inch bit, so I'm just going to have to use the 1/4-inch around the top. It's not a big problem, just got to make sure that there's enough airflow. So as long as I do enough, I should be fine. Right, so let's get started. The reason you want to drill holes in the bottom is for drainage. You're going to have water coming in, and you know, a lot of your vegetables contain a lot of water. I mean, lettuce is supposed to be what, 98% water, something silly like that. So you want to have these drainage holes so that all the water, all the moisture can come out. Because although worms do like a certain amount of moisture, you don't want too much. Too much is going to cause them to drown. So this essentially prevents drowning. I have this around the bottom here. You can see there's this ridge, and that the ridge actually goes inside as well. So I know that most of my moisture is actually going to gather in this ridge, which is why I'm drilling around here. I'll drill a couple holes in the middle as well, but doing this was definitely necessary. Otherwise I'm going to get this ring of water and it's just not going to be good. Also make sure you get all the bits of plastic off. Also on the inside, make sure you get the plastic out from the inside. You don't want to kill your worms by making them eat plastic. I'm not measuring at all, as you might have noticed, for how far these holes are apart. I'm just trying to drill enough holes that, you know, most of the water should drain out. I probably don't want too many holes in the bottom, so I think I'm just going to do one more row of holes and then I should be good. If you get some of the plastic stuck in the holes, just draw them through from the other side and that'll get rid of it. Again, just make sure you remove all the plastic. You really don't have to be terribly accurate. As long as you get the holes and if you're happy with what it looks like, it'll be good. You know, to be quite honest, the worms don't care. As long as they have lots of food and they're not too cold or too hot, they'll be quite happy. I'm happy with what I got. Just go off. Those are fine. Those are okay. Cool. Done. You don't need to, if you drill the holes around the side here, you don't need to put any holes in the lid. You only need holes in the lid if you don't have holes on the side. Right, I think we're good to go now. Now to go inside and put the worms in. Let's go. Right, now I have my storage container that I'm going to have the worms in. I've got my worms, I've got some food scraps, I blended up some stuff, and I've got some other food scraps here, coffee grounds and things like that, and some water. And then I've also got my leaf mulch. Now all I did was I just went outside and I grabbed a whole bunch of leaves and I crushed them up. I just stomped on them to crush them up. I've got a lot of finely crushed stuff, some of it's not as finely crushed. And then I wet it, and that actually, I left it for a couple of days, and that actually helped to break the leaves down a lot. So this is very nice wet leaf mulch, and they'll really enjoy that, they'll eat through that. Of course, when you're picking up the leaves, if you're going to be cheap like me, you want to make sure that you don't get any sticks in there, or at least take out as many of the sticks that you can find. So there I've got that's my leaf mulch. I just made it in this tub, but this tub is going to become my drainage tub. So any excess liquid from this tub is going to drain through into this tub. So let me get the mulch into this tub. Then I can put my worms in, and I can spray them down a little bit. You can see there's a lot of stuff right at the bottom here is actually quite finely crushed. It was actually pretty easy to do. Just shove them all in. Some of the stuff I did in a bag, so put it in a bag and then just knock the bag around, crush the bag, and some of the stuff I just put into here and did in here. The stuff that was in the bag tended to become much finer, so I probably next time I have to do this, I'll do it with do it all in the bag. But I picked up the tip on using leaf mulch instead of coconut coir or peat moss from the University of Maine. They have like a lot of universities, they have an educational branch, and they've got some videos on YouTube, and they had an instructor there who mentioned using leaf mulch instead of coconut coir or peat moss. Being the cheap person I am, I opted for the leaves because I had plenty of those in my backyard. Alright, now let's put actually I'm going to wet this a little bit more. It needs to be a little bit more, I think. It's going to be nicely damp, you know. The excess will drain out of here. But I just rather, they recommend that if you squeeze it, that you can get just a couple, like 2-3, maybe 2-3 drops out of it. So this is not quite that wet yet. I think that's okay. I don't want to do it too much wetter. I'll check on it in a couple of days. Alright, now let's get our worms. They've dug deep down into the middle of this. There you go. Oops. There you go. Look at that. Look at all those worms. Look at all those worms. Wow, what a clump of worms. They're all just clinging together here. Alright, I'm going to just put them down there. And just spread the rest over. Yeah, definitely, most of them seem to be alive. Yep. There you go. Let's put a little bit more water over the top. And then, now they're over here, so I think I'm going to start over here. If you divide your container into 8, so 4 and 4, what you want to do is you want to work down your container and around them back up again in a circle. And if you notice that there's still food in the first spot in the container after 8 days, you don't want to feed them anymore until it's gone. I'm making a little bit of an indentation, and I am going to put all the food for them in there. They eat, these are red wigglers, they eat about their weight of food in a day. So I'm just going to, I'm not entirely sure how much they weigh, I haven't weighed them, but I'm going to put a bunch of food in here, and then we'll see how well they do. Yeah, let's do that. There you go. Right. Oh, I've already got some water leaking out of the bottom, I see. I'm going to have to put that, but first I need to get 2 bricks so I can put them in the bottom of this one. I can put this into that. So let me go get my bricks and we can stop it leaking all over my floor. Right, I've got my 2 bricks. Just need one there, one there, that should be fine. Up in there. You can put the lid on. I'm not going to. I'm going to leave these under the light. That'll force the worms to go down into the soil and not just struggle around on top. And then tomorrow afternoon I can probably just put the lid back on there, and they'll be good to go. They don't like the light, so this having the light on, having them under the light on all night will mean that they dig into the mulch and start eating through the mulch and eating through the food that I've put in there. So we are good to go. One worm station up and running.